Hello everyone, this is Formula One News, and in this video we will discuss the following. Christian Horner gave a tough response to Toto Wolff's remarks, pointing out the real issues with Mercedes. Ferrari faced tyre issues for the first time this season, and what problems with the car pursued Lewis Hamilton during the Chinese Grand Prix. The start of the weekend in China was positive for Lewis Hamilton. The changeable weather worked in favor of the Mercedes team, as only under such conditions could the W15 demonstrate a competitive result and secure the second grid position in qualifying for the sprint race. The sprint race itself also went smoothly. Lewis managed to overtake Lando and maintain a good pace without letting his competitors catch up, with only Max in the RB20 managing to pass him and take the lead in the sprint. Second place in the sprint race was Hamilton's best result of the season so far, but he couldn't replicate that success in qualifying for the Grand Prix. He faced brake issues again at turn 14, resulting in a loss of time and starting the Grand Prix from the 18th position on the grid. In the race, the Briton managed to climb up to 9th place, but it wasn't an easy task. According to him, the car had such poor handling during the first half of the race that he thought something was broken. I thought maybe at the beginning I tapped someone because I have never had so much understeer in my life, so I was turning in at slow speed and waiting. So I thought I had damaged something like some of the others because there was debris going everywhere at one point, but it was just the setup that I chose. With better decisions on setup, maybe we would be around where George is, but we just have to keep fighting. In the current season, Lewis has yet to surpass his teammate. In 5 Grand Prix races, Lewis finished in lower positions, and at the Australian Grand Prix, both Mercedes drivers failed to finish. Ferrari faced tyre issues for the first time this season. The Maranello team established itself as the second force after Red Bull. This season, their car emerged more balanced than the previous one. They managed to address many of the issues that plagued them in the previous season, particularly taking pride in their tyre management. What was one of their biggest problems last season has become a strength in this one. However, tyre issues resurfaced at the Chinese Grand Prix. After 21 laps, when switching to the hard tyre, Charles Leclerc experienced a sudden drop in pace, which he didn't anticipate based on previous races. I don't think we found it as a team, especially on the hard tyres, which is a bit strange because the strength of this car since the beginning of the year is it's very solid in all conditions with all tyres. Today is a bit an outlier because as soon as we put on the hards, we were half a second off. So that is very strange. We will look into it and try to understand what went wrong on that run. Ferrari expected to compete for a podium finish, but instead encountered inexplicable issues. It could be a simple lack of data, as this was the first Grand Prix in China following the change in technical regulations, or perhaps their car has quirks that the team hadn't anticipated. After the pit stop and the conclusion of 2 safety car periods, Leclerc expected to battle with Norris, but couldn't match the pace of McLaren and Red Bull. It's very strange, especially compared with the McLaren. With Lando at first, I really thought we were going to fight with him. I was doing good tyre management until the safety car that reset it a little bit. All strategies, which is a bit of a shame because I think we were doing a good job, and then, on the hard, we were just slow. We were expecting this weekend to be very similar, or in line with whatever we've seen since the beginning of the season, but we were struggling quite a bit more. Christian Horner gave a strong response to Toto Wolff's remarks about the constant likelihood of Verstappen leaving Red Bull. Responding to questions about Wolff's constant hints that Verstappen might leave Red Bull, Horner said, "Have you spoken to Max about this? Because if you speak to Max, it's not about pieces of paper at the end of the day. We know that he has a contract to the end of 2028. It's about how he feels in the team, the relationship he has in the team, and the way he's performing. And I don't think Toto's problems are his drivers. I think he's probably got other elements that he needs to be focusing on rather than focusing on drivers that are unavailable." The hint is quite understandable. The best driver will choose the best car, although Wolff thinks otherwise. The head of Mercedes suggests that factors other than pure performance will ultimately decide Verstappen's future. Such assumptions are based on the turbulent events at Red Bull, where Horner's future in the team became the subject of speculation after internal power struggles. There are so many factors that play a role for a driver joining. Clearly, when you look at it from the most rational point of view, you can say it is the quickest car in the hands of the quickest driver. But I don't think this is the only reason you stay where you are. For, let's say, simple minds, that might be the only reason to stay in the car. But maybe there is more depth to some people that consider other factors too, and I think Max has that depth. And what do you think? Is Toto Wolff right in his assumptions? Or is he simply trying to stir up the situation at Red Bull even more? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today. Did you enjoy the video? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's follow the latest news from Formula One together.